So look, I mean, what's actually quite interesting, just if you look at data, so already about half of all data center capacity is actually used for AI as of today, right? And we're right at the beginning of that journey in many ways. And if you look at all the projections, the data center usage for normal things like storing data, etc., is going to remain relatively flat. There's some small growth, but actually then you've got massive growth being predicted for AI workload. I think one of the kind of key issues that everyone's now focused on is about perhaps less about, is there enough data center space, but actually, is there going to be enough power to be able to support that without having impact on the wider economy? So in my mind, building large hyperscale type facilities, that's an obvious area. And, a lot of people are looking at that. But I think there needs to be much more focus on how do you address that power need as well for data centers. And it's about not just about, I guess, cheap power, but actually data centers also need to have, very reliant power where renewables are not always the kind of the final outcome. So I think there's going to be quite a lot about thinking about driving more efficiency with data centers to actually
I was going
reduce.
to ask, how do you reconcile essentially growth in data centers, which means growth in consumption of energy with, clean energy and impact on the environment? I mean, it seems to be very hard to reconcile in some way.
It is. I don't think there is an answer to this at this point in time. So, you do see specific markets which actually now introduce moratoriums on building new data centers, right? Until there is a solution for the power, because ultimately data centers are very important to our day-to-day lives these days. But at the same time, we cannot be blind to the fact that that energy that's being produced is also needed for other parts of the society. So I think there may be kind of a natural slowdown just on the basis of until the power gets sorted, that there may be slowdown in terms of how much new capacity you can be building. But actually, what's interesting, it also creates potential for new countries to benefit from that data center boom outside of the kind of obvious regions like the FLAP region in the past.